let's get straight into some Roto World headlines. There are plenty.
As we welcome everyone into the happy hour, you know we always got to tell everyone it's noon on Monday on a Peacock, but it's
5 o'clock somewhere.
Thank you, Jay. That's all I'm asking.
London, I believe.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Cheerio.
Drinks
London,
up. Chaps.
Bottoms up. Chaps.
Bottoms up. Chaps. All right. The Minnesota Vikings.
Glug. You know what's interesting is the words glug glug.
Yes.
Universal. Doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter what country you're from. You could be living in a cave.
Yeah, you know.
And
glug,
I just
glug.
go glug glug.
Yeah. Well, if you are living in a cave, I hope you're doing okay, and I hope that you're
people,
on the Dallas
and people know what
Cowboys
that means.
-1.5.
And they would take their like little half-open coconuts and.
This is a strange glug glug tangent.
I'm just saying it's universal. We speak the universal language
of glug glug. All right.
And love.
Dallas Cowboys blow out the Minnesota Vikings, Matthew, 40-3.
You love that.
People thought people were confused that 1.5 the Cowboys were favored. Turned out they should have been favored by 36.5, and they just annihilated the Minnesota Vikings. It was the Tony Pollard show. It was the Dak Prescott show. CeeDee Lamb didn't do a great deal outside of having one of the best catches of the season. But I think the story is Tony Pollard. Can he still be an RB1 going forward with Ezekiel Elliott? Still getting 15 carries yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, and showed the explosiveness. And what was interesting here is that they actually used him. Finally, for the love of Pete, can we put Tony Pollard in the passing game? And we did. He got 6 targets, 6 for 109, and the 2 scores, including the 68-yarder that you see there on your screen. Like, that's what we've been waiting for. Like, going into the season, we're like, look, Zeke's going to be the guy between the tackles, but they're going to try to use Tony Pollard's speed and mobility and versatility in space, getting the ball in these dump-offs, let him beat out. And you know what? They finally did it. It only took them 11 weeks, Mike McCarthy. Don't get me started on Mike McCarthy, because you know what? At least for today, he is the champion, 40-3 over the Vikings. And even Mike McCarthy, who's one of my least favorite coaches in the NFL, can't be dumb enough to go like, hey, we shouldn't do that anymore. Right? You know what I mean? Even he's got to be like, oh, that actually worked. The thing that other people have been saying all year long about, hey, Tony Pollard should be used in the passing game. Oh wow, it worked. So yes, I don't know that there's anything from yesterday's performance that goes away. I think if you're Dallas, you feel really good about how that. I mean, listen, it's 40-3 against a team that had just one loss coming into the game, Jay. But Ezekiel Elliott between the tackles, pounding the in stuff close. Tony Pollard spreading the defense, getting him mismatched on linebackers, taking advantage of his speed and versatility as well. Like, I think for our purposes, next week, at least in my rankings, will be very similar to what they were this week, which is
15 and 25.
I had Tony Pollard at 15. I had Zeke at 25. Look, we didn't expect multiple touchdowns from each guy. Pollard winds up running back 1 as we head into Monday Night Football. Zeke is running back 10. But the fact of the matter is Zeke has now had back-to-back games with 2 touchdowns. He's had at least 15 touches in 6 of the last 7 games. He's not going anywhere. The volume will be there. The in-close opportunities should likely be there. But Tony Pollard is just the better running back to the eye test, to everyone's test, right?
Yes, he passes every single test, the glug glug test, any test that you want. I think that what you're hoping for is that it's, I guess, 50-50 in terms of the split of carries, and then Pollard gets all the receiving work. Because that has been a trend, is that Zeke just isn't getting any pass-catching work this year. So you want that to go to Pollard because he's clearly the more explosive player in the pass game. And I think that this Dallas offense is good enough that it can support both of them, and CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott, and Dalton Schultz, all as viable fantasy starters.
Tony Pollard ran a route on 51% of his snaps, which was great. And I would guess, without having the research in front of me, I would be shocked if that was not a season high for Pollard. So feels like, and maybe you can say like, hey, give a pass to McCarthy because Dak gets injured early, and then they've got Cooper Rush, and then they're just trying to sort of like manage it with Cooper Rush. But given how well that Cowboys defense is playing, you feel pretty good about them, especially given that they're playing on Thursday, Thanksgiving, as is tradition. They're home to a suddenly vulnerable New York Giants. I mean, the Giants got exposed, I think, by the Lions. We'll talk about the game in a little bit here, but we talked about that on Fantasy Football pregame as well, that we liked the Lions to upset the Giants. It was also Ahmed's bold call.
Yes.
Props to Ahmed.
1-for-1.
Lions are his team. feels like another big game is coming for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
I feel like the bottom is falling out of the Giants, and we'll get to them, but Wan'Dale Robinson, he's torn his ACL, unfortunately. Adoree Jackson is out for 4 to 6 weeks, too. They've got other defensive players banged up. So I think that, look, that line right now on BetMGM is Cowboys minus 8.5. I think it'll probably close minus 10.5, and I'd still probably be taking the Cowboys. That feels like a blowout. And the team that just got blown out by the Cowboys, the now 8-2 Minnesota Vikings, who after that have a negative point differential on the season despite being 8-2. And look, just when you look at the screen and the performances from the Minnesotans, everyone did poorly. Dalvin Cook was okay on the ground but didn't get a touchdown or the receiving work. TJ Hockenson fine, but Cousins, Jefferson, Thielen, just a disaster.
Hockenson dropped 2 touchdowns, one of which he absolutely should have had, one of which he would have had to make a good play, but it's a play he's made before, which, by the way, just not for nothing. Like, and I get that the show, look, most of the show is about you guys, okay? Most of the show is me pouring out my heart, pouring out my brain for you at home. This one's about me and me only. So I'm in a guillotine league, right?
Oh, here we go.
I'm in a guillotine league, right? And so in a guillotine league, if you're the lowest scoring team in the league, you get chopped. And so I have a great team in this guillotine league: Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, AJ Brown, Miles Sanders, Michael Pittman. Like, it's Josh Allen. It's a great team.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore, Jay Croucher. You know why? Because everyone that I just mentioned didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Not one of them. Oh, no. Here, Matt Breida, take a freaking touchdown. I also have Devin Singletary in that league. Now, he's the only guy of that long list of superstars, Devin Singletary. And yet, there's one other guy, my buddy Guillermo. Guillermo has a terrible team. He had to start Devontae Smith. He started Gabe Davis. You don't start volatile players like that in guillotine, right? You know, it's dumb. It's a dumb move. And yet those 2 guys scored touchdowns. And so we were going down, and I'm down by 5 points. I'm down by 5 points to lose this guy. I've got a better team than him top to bottom. I just mentioned all those superstars. None of whom will get in the end zone. And so you know what happens? You know what happens? There it is. Look at my team. Look at that. G.J. Hockenson. If he just catches one of the 2 touchdowns he should have caught, one of those 2 stupid touchdowns, I'm still alive in my guillotine league. Because, God forbid Josh Allen throw more than 1 touchdown pass. God forbid Saquon Barkley gets more than 30 yards against the Lions. The Lions, Saquon Barkley. Oh, Michael Pittman, Miles Sanders, A.J. Brown. That one game just absolutely tanked me. I thought at least one guy would do something. For the love of all that is holy and good, Jalen Hurts, Quez Watkins? Why are we throwing it to Quez Watkins?
It's good, Quez.
A.J. Brown is there. Miles Sanders is there. Michael Pittman. Come on, Matt Ryan. For once, try not to get sacked. Throw it to Michael Pittman.
Loves getting sacked, Matt Ryan.
You didn't like it was brutal. And then Alvin Kamara, you're playing the Rams, you're at home. Juwan Johnson again? Really, Andy Dalton?
The best tight end in the league.
Could we just dump it off to
Travis Kelce?
Again, I needed 5 points. That entire team of superstars, taking the quarterback out of it, that entire team of superstars called one touchdown.
Yeah.
Do you understand how hard it is to have 7 legitimate offensive stars that score only 1 touchdown over the course of a day? Do you know how hard it is? Well, I did it. I did it with my guillotine league.
It's good. It's a good lineup.
It was. You're right to use the past tense.
Yeah.
It was a good lineup. It no longer exists. It's in the ether. It's done. It's now there for the rest of my guillotine league to pick over. Like, pick over like you're at a garage sale. Ooh, maybe I'll get a Camaro.
Scraps.
Maybe I'll get Barkley. Oh, do I want a Josh Allen or not? I don't know. Let me just go. All my carcass just there laying out dead. All because T.J. Hockenson couldn't come down with 1 of 2 touchdowns he should have had. Wow. I didn't need both of them. I just needed 1. Just needed 1, Jay Croucher.
You didn't like Saquon's 15 for 22?
I did not.
You didn't like the 22 yards on the ground?
No, against Detroit.
That's the one. You're taking shots at T.J. Hockenson. Saquon going 15 for 22.
Was a killer. Was a kill. He was playing the Lions.
Yeah.
The Lions.
Matt Breida. MB.
Matt Breida.
The real and only living MB left in that league.
Matt Breida.
Yeah.
Dayball. Do you understand what you've done to me, Brian Dayball and Saquon Barkley? I am a diehard since I was 5 years old Washington Commanders fan. You know this, right?
Yeah.
When you grow up, as I have, a Commanders fan,
Giants.
you know what you are?
Yeah.
You are a Cowboys hater.
Yeah.
You are a Cowboy. You hate the Cowboys.
Sure.
And yet, this Thanksgiving against the New York Giants, how about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? I hope they dominate them.
Yeah.
I hope they dominate them.
Yeah. Let's go, Dak.
I hope they crush them like a grape.
Yeah.
Just like that team did to my soul.
Yeah. All right, have some tequila. Let's go on to Sunday Night
I already
Football.
I admit, this is my second glass. The pregame show. I mean, like, you understand, I'm very bitter.
You're fired up. Also fired up. Every fan in Kansas City after what Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football, did against the Chargers. But I think the story is mainly the injuries.
That felt good to get out.
Yeah? You happy? You can
No,
breathe?
I'm not happy. But at least I'm like, it needed to come out.
Yes.
It needed to come out. Because you know what? Like, I'm here for a long day. I'm so frustrated. I go home. You know, my kids are in bed. I kiss my kids on the forehead. My wife's asleep. I kiss her goodnight.
They don't know
I
the
can't,
rage.
I can't. Yeah, they don't know the rage.
Yeah.
They just like, I'm just daddy. Oh, how was work today? It was fine. I saw you on TV. Thanks.
Yeah.
You know, like, thanks, love bug. You know, like, I can't.
They don't know.
They don't understand.
They don't know the demons chained inside you. The T.J. Hawkinson, Matt Brady demons.
Right, exactly. They don't
clawing at each other with brass knuckles.
They don't see me tossing and turning in my bed. So freaked out, so upset, like, I literally took 2 Ambiens last night to go to sleep. I swear to God.
This is what you've done to Matthew Berry, Brian Daboll.
I just wrote Brian Daboll.
Okay, well.
My dumb guillotine league. All right, yeah.
It wouldn't have been a problem if you had Patrick Mahomes
in
your team because he's really good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's quite good. Let's go
is there anything we need to talk about Patrick Mahomes? I don't think so.
He's going to win MVP. He's going to walk to it now. I don't see any doubt there. But
what's his line at that?
Minus 150.
Oh, sorry, right. You're not even getting right. You're not even getting plus money.
Well,
at this
I think
point.
it's still a bet. It's still a bet. He should be minus 250. Let's talk about some of the injuries though in that game. I think that's the most relevant fantasy element to come out of it. Mike Williams comes back from the high ankle sprain, immediately injures his ankle again. Kadarius Toney does his hamstring, as he is prone to, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who did get a carry, which he didn't do last week, he injures his ankle, and it becomes the Isaiah Pacheco show. So what are we doing with these injuries, Matthew? I think it's Josh Palmer, it's Juju Smith-Schuster when he comes back, and then it's Isaiah Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco is the clear sort of winner here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, his snap percentage has decreased for 5 straight games prior to the injury. I mean, we liked Pacheco. I talked about him on Football Night in America. We talked about him on Fantasy Football Pregame as well. Like, we thought Pacheco would have a nice game given how the Chargers came to the game as the second worst run defense over the last month. And so Clyde Edwards-Helaire injury sort of gives an excuse to the Chiefs to do what they've been wanting to do all along, which is go to Pacheco and McKinnon as sort of a 1-2 punch with Pacheco, the early down guy, McKinnon, the passing down back. So that's your answer there, is if Pacheco's still out there, he should be the number 1 waiver claim. We'll see how long CEH is out with the ankle injury. We'll get an update probably later today. Tomorrow will be the waiver wire show. Kadarius Toney, hard to say, right? You know, because again, we know Mecole Hardman isn't coming back. He's on IR. He's out for at least 3 more games. But how bad is Juju Smith-Schuster? Certainly it was nice that Kadarius Toney played a lot of snaps on the first drive, played a lot of them. Like, it looked like he was going to have a significant role in the game, and then he leaves as well with that hamstring injury. Remember, this is a guy who missed 5 games with the Giants with a hamstring injury. Those soft tissue injuries, you know, are always nervous, especially for speed guys, especially for guys with his skill set. So we'll hope for the best with Kadarius Toney until we know more. But feels like making up for him, it's kind of be a committee, right? I mean, you know, like, last night it was a lot of Travis Kelce.
Well, that's the problem.
But you saw some Justin Watson. I mean, you saw some Noah Gray. Like, you know, Sky Moore got into the mix as well, right? And then, does Juju come back next week? I don't know.
The problem is that you're going to hunt through this committee and hunt for your Sky Moores, and the answer is only Travis Kelce, because he's the guy he's the only guy who's going to be consistent, who's going to be 90 yards and a touchdown each week, and it's just going to be spread amongst the other guys.
And to be clear, Travis Kelce is the answer no matter the question.
Yes.
Right. Who would you like your sister to date? Travis Kelce.
Yes.
Who would you like to go bowling with? Travis Kelce. Who's going to win you your fantasy game? Travis Kelce. Oh no, I'm trapped. I'm trapped in the woods with a bear. Who will save me? Travis Kelce. Yeah, exactly.
Who won Best Supporting Actor in 2018? Travis Kelce.
Right.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what the question is. The answer is always Travis Kelce. Looks like, we got to figure out this issue in the Ukraine. Who do we send in? Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, Russia, Ukraine, get in a room with Travis Kelce. I bet you both come out happy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter what the question is. The answer is always and forever Travis Kelce.
He's something else. Also something else last night was Josh Palmer, who really produced last night. He gets 10 targets.
How many weeks are we like, look, oh, no, Mike Williams, no, the Chargers. It was a bad week for me. Like I'm going to totally cop to this, right?
Very frazzled today.
Hang on. Football Night in America. I do my BetMGM breakdown with Cris Sims every single week. It usually goes pretty well.
Okay.
It goes pretty well.
Sure.
You know what my 2 bets were last night?
What were they?
I'm going to tell you. So first off, over 5.5 receptions for Austin Eckler.
Sure.
Over 5.5 receptions for Austin Eckler. He'd done that. He'd hit that number 4 straight games, 7 of 9 total games this year. He had 9 the previous game against Kansas City. No team in the NFL gives up more receptions to opposing running backs than the Kansas City Chiefs. I felt pretty good about Austin Eckler over 5.5 receptions. He got 2.
Yeah.
Right? And then I also had Mike Williams anytime touchdown.
That one
he scored. Third in, but there you go. And of course, like Josh Palmer, who we've been riding all season long, and we're like, Josh Palmer, I'm just telling you, there's a talented kid. He's a talented kid. And with no Mike Williams and no Keenan Allen, he should get a lot of looks. And what happened is every once in a while he'd have a nice game, but really for the entire stretch of it, Justin Herbert's like, I'm just going to dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. Here you go, Austin Eckler, just take a ton of receptions. And so last night, with everyone back, you're like, okay. And does he dink and dunk again? No, he does not. Even though that's a place to attack the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, most receptions allowed to opposing running backs. The 2 times he actually do it, they for only reason credited him with 3, but with 2. But I felt like there were 3 receptions to Eckler. Those 3 plays were all huge plays. Like the Chargers moved the ball. But would they do that? No, Brandon Staley. Why would I want to do this thing? Why would I want to get the ball in my best player's hand? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Why would I want the ball in my best player's hands? It's crazy talk.
Yeah.
Hey, Isaiah Spiller. Let's get you a lot of runs.
Isaiah Spiller signing.
Yes, and Isaiah. And I like Isaiah Spiller. I grew up in College Station, Texas A&M Aggie, Gingham Mags. That's my team. I like Isaiah Spiller. I'll tell you this: if Isaiah Spiller were right here, we'd say, "Are you as good as Austin Eckler?" He'd be like, "No, no, I'm not." No, and he's not. So anyway, whatever. The fact of the matter is that yes, in the game that we didn't think Josh Palmer would do anything because Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were there, he goes off. Yep. He has a monster game. He does what we thought he had the ability to do, what we saw in the preseason, what we've seen from flashes for him throughout the year. So, yes, if Mike Williams' injury is serious, he aggravated this high ankle sprain, then, we're back in on Josh Palmer.
Yep, it's fine. When you're wrong on Football Night in America, not many people watch that show. It's only like 20
So you don't think anyone saw that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, thank God.
I think they missed it. All right, let's go on to...
Because that would hurt my reputation. I don't want to...
Over 5.5? Yeah. Come on. All right.
I mean, just what are we doing?
Bills defeat the Browns, Matthew, in Detroit. 31-23. It was looking a bit iffy early, but then they steamrolled the pretty listless Cleveland Browns. Josh Allen, not great. I don't think that really means anything. Obviously, you're starting Josh Allen.
They missed a couple games of practice. They had to have their neighbors and, weirdly, Travis Kelce help them out, shoveling snow and get them out. Seriously, I don't know. You didn't see it like he's got Bills gear on, but Travis Kelce was in there helping because there's nothing he can't do.
It's quite a week, Travis.
Tried this week, but less than 200 passing yards for the first time this season, but he's had less than 20 fantasy points in 3 out of 4 games. 3 of the last 4, I will say, didn't really use his legs that much. Under 10 rushing yards. This is for the first time since week 10 of last season. But here's my question. On the season, he's quarterback 2 on a points per game basis. But here's his upcoming schedule. At Detroit, at New England. He plays Detroit on Thursday, obviously on Thanksgiving. Then he's at New England, home to the Jets. And then home to Miami. It's getting obviously a lot colder in Buffalo. You're still starting Josh Allen. He's still Josh Allen. But if we were redrafting today, is he your number 1 quarterback? Is he your number 2?
It's Mahomes, Fields, and then Allen's in a cluster, I think, particularly with the weather now. Like, if you could trade Josh Allen for Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow, I think those guys are in the same mix as him just because his passing yards go down in the second half of every season because it gets cold in Buffalo, as we know.
I want to know what's going on with Justin Fields' injury, but assuming Justin Fields is fine and continue to play, rest of the way, I would rather have Justin Fields. I would definitely rather have Patrick Mahomes. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts, my fantasy ride or die. And I think you can make an argument. I think I'm probably still sticking with Allen over Burrow and Herbert. But yes, if you could get Herbert or Burrow plus a piece, like a usable number 2 running back, then I think it's something to consider. I guess my point is I no longer think he is consensus overall number 1 quarterback in fantasy, which is what he was coming into the season. Too many weeks, it's taking them too long to get going. And we know there'll be some big games down the stretch, and he's still going to be a top 5 fantasy quarterback the rest of the way, easy, no questions asked. It's just like, you drafted him to be elite of the elite, and he's in a cluster with some other people, and that's not what you drafted him to be.
Yep, I think Lamar and Tua are in that discussion as well. Let's go to Devin Singletary, who all of a sudden is getting in the end zone for fun. 2 touchdowns last week. He gets 20 total touches, 97 yards, and a touchdown again against the Browns, and he's looking more like a really high-end RB2 at this point.
Yes, 5th straight week now that he's played at least 72% of the snaps, season high in rush attempts and rushing yards. We liked Devin Singletary coming to the game. He was on my love list. We talked him up as a top 15 play. We talked about the fact, I believe we took the over on him in Prop Shop, but like we were in on him because the Browns are so poor against the run, but also because, originally we thought it was going to be a cold weather game, and then again with not a lot of time to prepare because they're so busy just trying to get out of Buffalo into Detroit, we thought they would lean on the run game, and they did. Not only Devin Singletary, who finishes as running back 9 for the week as we head into Monday Night Football, but how about James Cook? They're a very talented rookie. When they traded for Nyheim Hines, Jay, the thought process was like, oh, all right, well, so much for James Cook. I guess he's more of a Dynasty League stash, but he has 11 for 86 yards in this game. He's averaging 5.8 yards per carry on the season, over 13 yards per reception this season, looks the part. If there's one concern, he played on just 25% of the snaps. Like, his production didn't match the usage.
Yep, I'm with you there. Also, I don't think we did the Bills game for proper shot, so I like that you snuck in that little W on the Devin Singletary over.
It was during a commercial break.
Yeah, it was during a commercial.
This much you can. So I don't remember what we did during proper shot. I know that we were in on.
We liked Devin Singletary.
We liked Devin Singletary. We talked him up quite a bit throughout the show. He was on my love list as well. I definitely know I talked about him during the ranking segment, where I talked him up in a positive manner as well.
Amari Cooper, the neutral designation.
But no,
for this
I think
game.
we need to go a little bit more on James Cook. Is James Cook somebody that you're picking up? Do you think this was a fluke, Jay Croucher? Do you think, hey, as it gets colder, they want more of a two-headed approach here, and both guys are viable? Is James Cook's more just insurance for Devin Singletary? Where are you on James Cook?
Where am I as a man on James Cook? Look, I'd be a little bit worried about Nyheim Hines as well, cutting into that time. I think that James Cook, I don't think he's necessarily going to get a bigger and bigger role as the season goes on with the pass catching, just because the passing goes down in general as it gets colder. So I think he's mainly an insurance back for Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary is one trending in the right direction. But yeah, if you've got Devin Singletary, certainly you want James Cook on your bench.
Yeah, and I think he's an upside guy. That offense can be explosive enough that you want pieces of it. I don't think I'm starting James Cook next week against Detroit on Thanksgiving, unless it's like on a one-game DFS slate. But I would like to have him on my roster.
Okay, let's talk quickly on Amari Cooper, who the neutral designation means that he's allowed to have a big game because it's not really a road game. He shakes those struggles, finishes as wide receiver 2, 113 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, just a monster game from Cooper.
Yeah, really good. 5th straight game this year with double-digit targets. It'll be interesting to see what happens to this Browns offense when Deshaun Watson takes over, because for whatever you think of Jacoby Brissett, I think he's certainly, my takes are 2 things. He's been better than advertised, better than people expect, and then a third bonus thing that I didn't even tell you about, I think he's been better for Amari Cooper than people thought as well. He's been really good for Amari Cooper. Honestly, good for Donovan Peoples-Jones, who gets into the end zone and has another good game, somebody that we sort of talked about as well. They're home to Tampa Bay. So, again, the home road splits. Like we talked about the fact that going from outdoors in Buffalo to indoors on a neutral site, we thought would ultimately be good for Cooper. He was my wide receiver 21. He's wide receiver 2. I didn't expect the 2 touchdowns here, but obviously you're starting Amari Cooper no matter what. Home to Tampa Bay, then at Houston. At Cincinnati will be a conversation, but then home to Buffalo. But 3 of the next 4 you feel good about Amari Cooper, no doubt.
Yep. All right, let's go to New Jersey, where the Lions lit up the New York Giants, and Jamal Williams was the big story. Gets 3 rushing touchdowns against the Giants. Looks like he is the clear, locked-in guy in Detroit going forward over DeAndre Swift.
But nothing short of amazing. It's his 4th game this year with over 20 fantasy points. DeAndre Swift has 1 such game. And even when Swift is active, here's the thing. A lot of people are like, we know they like him at the goal line, but what happens when DeAndre Swift is active? We talked about the fact that, hey, we're still starting him. We talked on Fantasy Football Pregame. If you looked at my rankings throughout the week, also on the love list as well, that, hey, Jamal Williams is somebody that I don't care if Swift is active or not. In games in which DeAndre Swift is active this season, he's averaging basically 17 touches a game. and we know he gets all the goal line work. He leads the NFL in goal-to-go carries. That was a stat coming into the game. Obviously, he converts 3 in this one as well. 12 rushing touchdowns. That is 5 more goal line carries than any other running back in the NFL. He's actually got 3 times as many rushing touchdowns as the Packers and the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Like, Jamal Williams has been nothing short of amazing as you sit here and look at on your screen, right? Like, he's got more than Derrick Henry, more than Nick Chubb, more than Josh Jacobs or league winner Ken Walker, more than Jalen Hurts even. Anyway, so 12 rushing touchdowns, leads the field. Like, he's the 5th best running back in fantasy. He's a locked-in RB1, until further notice.
Low-end RB1.
DeAndre Swift, gets the touchdown, right? But he had 8 touches in this game. Once again, another game with just single-digit touches, and I feel like that's going to always be the case with him. He's had under 8 rush attempts in 6 to 7 games he's played. He's only had 1 game. This one's shocking to me. He's only had 1 game with more than 3 receptions. They're just not using him in the passing game, which is so weird given his skill set, Jay. For the 3rd straight game, he's played 31% of the snaps or fewer.
Yep. I think the problem with DeAndre Swift, it's not so much Jamal Williams for him, it's that Justin Jackson is now getting 25 snaps and 10 touches. Now he's got to compete with him as well.
Yeah.
What's going on there? So I think DeAndre Swift, my thought was always that at some point in the season it would flip and DeAndre Swift would just become the guy. I don't think that's the bet anymore. I think Jamal Williams is definitely the guy you'd want going forward.
1,000%. Yeah, I mean, that Guillotine league that I had that just lost, right? No, who's on my bench in that league is DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even risk him.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, that's how good that team was, is that I was able to bench DeAndre Swift because I'm like, they're not going to use a lot. But, of course, he still scores. Yeah. Had I started DeAndre Swift over any of those other, like over Saquon Barkley, right? I'm moving on.
Well, now you can bench him forever.
I'm dead.
Yeah, he's benched
forever.
Yeah. All right.
Ever.
Hopefully not on the bench this week, but he might be, is Justin Fields, who gets injured in the final drive against Atlanta. We'll see what the upshot of that is. But until that point, he'd been, his usual self. Again, 85 rushing yards and a rushing TD, just Justin Fieldsy. You
told me on Fantasy Football Pregame that you didn't think this was sustainable.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is.
It's sustained.
It's sustained.
Yeah, well, he didn't get the 60-yard rush, but he still produces value each week that he's healthy.
Fantastic. I mean, right, over 80 rushing yards now in 5 of the past 6 games. Yep. I believe he had 85 rushing yards in this one as well. Throws a touchdown, runs for a touchdown. He is the 6th best quarterback in fantasy as we head into Monday Night Football. Unfortunately, who knows what's going to happen with Fields. Our fingers are crossed, but tomorrow will be a big day. You may need a quarterback for the rest of the. That's the concern here with Justin Fields. And by the way, Matthew Stafford. Not that Matthew Stafford is fantasy relevant, but when you think about how important those 2 guys are, Fields and Stafford, to their teams, and where the season is for those 2 teams, do you think maybe, hey, you know what, let's just shut these guys down? Like, there's no reason, especially with Justin Fields, honestly, either of those guys, there's no reason with either of those guys to be back out there for competitive NFL reasons because it's not their season. And both those guys are such key parts of the future.
I think Fields has played so well that he's more likely to get shut down now because they've seen enough. Had he not played so well, they might want to put him out there to see if he's the guy for next year. He's definitely the guy for next year. Let's quickly touch on Kyle Pitts, who looks like he's suffered an MCL sprain, still waiting for the exact timeline and all of that. I mean, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 43 yards. That's kind of a good game for Kyle Pitts these days.
That's what's sad. I mean, look, I don't mean to make light of anyone's injury. So, we hope the best for Kyle Pitts. But from a purely fantasy perspective, it's unfortunately like, I'm not sure it matters.
No.
You know what I mean? It honestly, again, we are not rooting for anyone to ever get injured. Absolutely not. I hope for the best for Kyle Pitts. But I would say for our purposes in terms of what we do here on the show, it actually might be helpful if we knew he was out. Because then you get out of the, oh, God, he's been so terrible.
Yes.
And I don't want to start him, but he's Kyle Pitts. And what if this is the big game?
Yeah.
And what do I, And so if at least he's out, then that decision's taken out.
Yes.
Don't
have to worry about Kyle Pitts versus Greg Dulcich.
No,
just start
exactly.
Greg Dulcich.
But that was the text I actually got from my buddy Lewis, was Kyle Pitts or Greg Dulcich. Like 100%. Like those are the kind of things that people are worrying about. And so, the best week this season was the Falcons bye week. Yeah. I didn't have to worry about, okay, should I start Kyle Pitts or not? So anyway, we hope for the best for Kyle Pitts. If you've been using him as your tight end, there's a chance you may need to go to the waiver wire, which we will deal with tomorrow. We will talk about all the potential quarterback fill-ins and all the potential tight end fill-ins.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay, respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.